Hello, everyone. I see one person is watching. I'll just give it one more minute, wait for everyone to come in. Hey, so maybe I'll just start for my one guest so far. So I don't really know. I didn't plan too much what I'd be drawing. So I guess I can start with a sketch. I like to start with these pencils. There's a blue one and a red one. Both of these disappear when you scan your artwork, and so it's a great way to sketch without having to erase your sketch lines. I really don't know what to draw though, so... Ah, salut! Hello! C'est tellement awkward. Je pense que c'est juste nous. So I don't know what I'm gonna draw. I'm just kind of improvising for now, and then maybe later I'll do something specific, or I can take a request. That's my favorite 3/4 view. Maybe I can make, let's see, a rounder jaw and a bigger forehead. And then I'll make round, cute, large eyes with lots of lashes. Un hunk. Je peux dessiner un hunk aussi. Let me know if the quality is alright. I have no idea how bad the delay is. I think there's about 1 minute delay. I like to do for this character a little cupid's bow, really pointy, and then a squiggly mouth, big bottom lip, sunken cheeks, and then round chin, big ears, a crease in the forehead, and then a kind of like cute expression, like a little shy. Short bangs. And wavy here. Little sideburns. This is how to draw basically my new character. His name is Solito. He's a girly, skinny, 30-year-old man. Hey Magnus! Hello! So I'm just doing this sketch with this blue pencil. Like I said, once you scan your artwork, it doesn't show up. so this way you don't risk ruining everything when you try to erase your sketch lines, because I'm gonna ink this after. Signature chin hair, pimple right here below the lip from eating badly. Shout out. Let me know if I'm too quiet. The mic is here. I like to do Adam's apple. Soft eyebrows, kind of curved. It's important to see the clavicle bone. And then he has a V line, or a V, what do you call this? A V neckline. That's his color right here. I like to add frills. And then it's an oversized blouse, so the, what do you call this line? The shoulder line kind of drops off the shoulder. Shout out to Jean-Marc. We did this together at the Ceramic Cafe place. And let me go up. It's important to do the bow. Maybe it doesn't fit in the camera. All right. Make the noise a bit pointier. Now's the time to kind of experiment, because I'm gonna ink soon, so I want to lock down all my lines. And then the hair falls. I like to follow a vertical line to make sure the gravity is right. So that would be the sketch. I guess I'm just starting to warm up. I can do a hunk for Jean-Marc after. And so I got these new brushes from a website called JetPens. Jetpens.com. And what I do is I write down the name of each brush right here, so I know which ones have which length or how thick the brush is going to be. And I think I'll use this one, Tombow Fudenosuke. This is the one. And then I'll use a thinner one for the detail after. And so all of these are brush pens, highly recommended. Oops, I guess there's coffee stain. Good. I guess I'll have to work around it. Yeah, I like to use brush pens because then my lines aren't one width, they kind of vary. You can see I start the line thin and then it'll get thicker in the middle and then thinner again, and then that gives more personality to the drawing. It looks less computer made. And so I feel like most of these brushes are meant to do calligraphy, like this one. But they were great for inking comic style drawing. Sorry, I'm focusing a little bit because the eyes are important. Let me know if I should speak louder. I'm testing the new setup. And then you raise the lashes up. And I can come back later for lashes with a smaller brush. I like this character to have droopy eyes. It's cuter, like a puppy. One reflection, two reflection, three. And then that's the pupil right here. And I like to draw the outline of the iris right here. And he's a bit tired, so I draw a little bag under his eye. Now the cheek, sunken cheek. Yeah. And I see maybe this ear is a bit too high, so I'm gonna draw it a bit lower. And notice I press a bit more here, because that's the part that sticks up the most from the face. So it's kind of like you're drawing a drop shadow. So pointy lip and curve, and then I like to draw the little ball here. If you're smiling, it bunches up there. It's like a dimple. Pimple. Ah, I wasn't careful. I can clean up after. I have this white brush, and I would use that to go over, because I smudged a little bit, the ink wasn't dry. So, receding hairline right here. And I press slightly because the hair is finer. I have those little short bangs, nice and straight. Wave. Nose is nice and pointy. And that's a tricky part, because I like to do the cheekbone and then right away do the round chin. It's like two competing lines. Yeah, I like that. That absence of chin right here. Yo. tricky to do the other eye. Just have to focus a little bit. Oops. Sorry, I'm out of focus. Right, so back to the hair. I have to do this little shadow here. It helps connect the head to the neck usually. Otherwise, sometimes the head looks flat. And with this little shadow, it's more of a 3D effect. So for the hair, it's gonna cascade kind of around the neck and then bunch up here and then go behind the shoulder. So, and behind the shoulder, and then I can add more strands to get back to the kind of wavy pattern I had going on before. So that's one strand. I messed that up a little bit. I'll try and fix it. I guess it's harder because the hair is wavy. If it was straight, that would have worked, but it's not the end of the world. Maybe I'll fix it. Maybe I'll paint the hair black and then I can cover these lines. That's a bit better. This part should have been more like this. I guess I should finish the face. Lash. Oh, neck volume here. And I like a prominent collarbone right here, and then we go under the collar. More. And that line right here connects to the collarbone. And so I'll do quickly the color. And then these lines should be a bit thicker because we're doing less fine detail and more bigger shape. This. Now the frills. And then, so the frills don't look so flat, I draw lines to create volumes, as if the frills are bunching up where they meet the color. And then I draw a line here, because the frills are like a warped surface. And so these lines here, because it's bunching up, and then this line right here, I do a parallel line below, because I've determined that that's how the frill curves. Here, here. And same on the other side. The design for the frill is kind of inspired by butterfly wings, so that's why this part right here is a bit longer and kind of sticks out. And then a bow. And here you see it bunches up. And finally, the seam for the shoulder. And then the other shoulder. I think that's good. And then maybe I'll take a thinner brush for detail. This is the thinnest brush I know. It's gonna be a little bit too thin for anything but lashes. I like to draw this character with more lashes than usual for a more romantic look. But then I want the Fude Makase Extra Fine. This is basically my favorite brush. These two, Pilot, Fude Makase, they last pretty long. They keep their shape over time. And they're extra fine. This is fine and extra fine brush pens. So I'll fill in the eyebrow. And I leave some sparse area, so this way you have a kind of texture. Actually, no. I just want to fill it fully. And I'll do a bit of hair texture with this. And then maybe I can save this area that I messed up. And so I follow the lines, so you see I stick to the curves I started with the lines for the texture. Maybe if I draw enough lines in that area, you kind of lose track of what's going on, and that maybe is gonna erase my mistakes. Maybe I'll stop here with the lines. It's good to maybe not go overboard. I'll just do a little detail here. Otherwise you lose track of what's going on if you kind of saturate the drawing with line and detail, I think. Maybe into a little black shadow right here. Here. And we can color this later. I just want the ink to dry, so I'm gonna put this on the side. Have a little sip of coffee. You can say something in the chat. You can request. Someone requested a hunk. I don't know if Jean-Marc is still here. I can draw a hunk since it's requested. Oh god, sorry, I'm just testing. Put this on the side. I was making sure everything is working. Sorry. Alright. So I don't know what kind of hunk to draw. I got this in Germany. Great pencil sharpener. See, maybe I can do head to toe. Can make him look at the camera. Like he's changing, so he's gonna be I'll do a side view and then his face turning to the camera. And so that's like a standard skeleton for drawing figures. You know those like little sculptures for drawing? I still kind of refer to that in my head. So kind of like rectangle right here for the chest, for the rib cage, and a ball for where the abs are in the stomach, and then another rectangle for the pelvis, a ball to connect the pelvis to the leg is like a cylinder, a ball for the knee, and then another cylinder, and a ball to connect this part of the leg to the feet. And then same thing. Maybe that's too girly of a pose. Let's try. I got this new eraser. I don't know if I'm using it right. Oh yeah. I think it's a brand called Sakura Sumo or something. And so when you erase, apparently, yeah, it makes less of a mess because it gathers the eraser parts into... Oh, you can't see. Sorry. It gathers them into just like bigger strands of bunched up eraser. So it's easier to clean. So see. Well, I don't know if that's true. That's not great. Maybe this brand is better. Boxy, I think it might be better. Yeah, that's much better. I don't recommend this Sakura thing. I do recommend this Boxy eraser. I got it on jetpens.com. It's been half an hour already. Okay, back to the drawing. Yeah, so that was a little bit too girly of a... Although, that's fine. Maybe... I think I'm going to do something where he's caught changing and he's really shy and embarrassed about it. So he's gonna cover this part. That's where his hand is gonna be. Because I want his towel to cover a little bit of his body, but we still get a peek of the abs. And so I follow this line to make sure when the towel falls, it follows gravity properly. Because I don't want it to fly in the wind, it's just falling from his hands. So I could also use a ruler maybe. And I like this clear ruler because I can see, I have like a grid inside so I can make parallel lines easily. And then I use that as a guide for the towel. And so here there's a bit of a problem. The head doesn't really connect that well to the body. Bicep. So I'm gonna raise that head, and the problem was that the neck, there wasn't enough room for the neck, and I want him to have like a big Dragon Ball neck. So it's easier to, oops, make the neck kind of follow the back of the back right here, and then I like to do this kind of shape, kind of a cone-like, really thick neck that goes from this part of the back and all the way to where the chest, like where he would have like chest cleavage. Can you sorry, there's a delay in the chat. I just got the Kanye and Trump best ship ever. Yeah, sure. They are gay for each other. Yeah, they said I love you in front of all these cameras. So I'm having a little trouble with the neck because I also want the head to have enough room to curve kind of like this. And so if the neck is too thick, then I can't have the head fully turn, so I might need to erase a little bit again. And make the neck start like here instead. And then that gives me room. And if it's not like a face fully facing the camera, it's gonna be a 3/4, and that's good enough. And it works kind of a bit better with that like surprised to see you angle. It's been a while since I drew like a hunky guy, so I kind of lost practice. And yeah, that's like a standard drawing technique, like doing the cross on the face so you can place the features properly in line with like the angle of the face. I think that's not bad right here. And so ear, and then I guess he's like, he could be bigger, so I'm just gonna add mass on top of the like skeleton that I got down. Like for example, this arm right here could be almost 2 times bigger, and same for this. And so I'm gonna bring this part right here. Now it's too skinny, so I'm gonna do the same and kind of add mass. So definitely like a butt right here. That's good. And then that V line here, and That's where the knee is, and I'm gonna add the, I don't know what you call that muscle, calves muscle. You can see I'm more used to drawing female bodies, so I haven't like really mastered like dude legs so well, so they're kind of always like shaped like a leg that would be wearing heels. It's like just a habit. Or they kind of get too skinny, I don't know. That's like my weak spot. I'm not that great at drawing like macho guys secretly. So he has like curves, which actually it makes it more interesting. I don't know if you can hear the music, it's Exit Trance. Have you read any of Kotobuki's manga? I'm not sure. I can do a quick... Let me do a quick search. Kotobuki. Oh yeah, I've seen them. I think I didn't read any, but I've seen images floating around. Is there a translated book out there? How do you read? Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I've seen covers, but I didn't read anything, but I would love to. Oh. Thanks for the recommendation. I'm looking, sorry, I'm like distracted now. I'm looking at a Google image. Yeah, it's good. It's I like the mix of like crude lines, and then you can tell he, for example, the backgrounds in the images I'm seeing are really detailed. I like the contrast. It makes me, it reminds me that I should loosen up my lines. It's kind of cooler to be more free. Yeah, thanks. I'll have a look after this. It's really cute. Yeah, I'm seeing an image of a kind of like cute older man, like I think it's a self-portrait of him like with pink cheeks looking behind a bamboo tree. It's really cute. Thanks. Okay, so back to our guy. So I'm gonna just make the pecs a little bit bigger and a boob-like, and then this way there's two. Nipples are a bit hard to place. I guess they... I kind of like when the pecs are so big that the nipples end up like on the side. I can like put them here for now and then change it later if I want to. And then I hope it's fine that his nose is like all pointy. I like to do a little cheek. That's not really sunken cheeks as much as there's like a prominent. It's like cheeks and not cheekbones, because he's nice and healthy. And then the eyes should be a bit smaller than usual. Misplace the eye a bit. I'm gonna redo that jawline. And then you should have like a really square forehead. I hope I don't get copyright striked for the music playing. Maybe you should have medium long hair. That was too long. Maybe that kind of like 90s cut. And then shaved size. And then neck. Adam's apple leading to the chest. It's kind of important to spend time on the sketch, because then I like to ink kind of quickly, so all the important decisions I take now. But I can still fix things a bit later when I'm inking. So abs, 1, 2, and I guess the third one would be here. It's covered by the arm. I guess pubes here. We won't see too much because the leg is hiding that area. And then I think I picked that up from Dragon Ball. It's to do a kind of crease right here. I don't know if that's good. Maybe not down here. Here it's more on this side. I don't know. I'm trying to draw muscles, but I always kind of wing it. Maybe that's not a good idea actually. I'll do that muscle crease on this side. Like here. And then I guess the butt here, we need to make it a little bit lower so that there's a waist here. And butt crease. So, and then, I don't know if you can see. All right. Big toe, and then small toe. I draw the middle, and then the one in between the middle one, and that's a pretty safe way to not fuck up the toes. So first the big toe, and then I'm not like an expert with feet, but maybe it should be a bit bigger. And then so the towel folds here. And then like this. Not sure about the nipple. Maybe it was too far. I think that's probably good. It's blushing. Okay, and I need a bit more room for the pubes. And that's a bit skinny right here, so I'm gonna widen that. And then I still haven't drawn the arm that's at the back. He should probably have hold his face because he's a little shy. Nice. Maybe that should be more like it, a bit higher. Not sure. Oh yeah. Let's see. I wonder if the shoulder should be behind. A bit lower. Then that should be like that. And so then we leave a bit more room for the arm. We're losing it. Not bad. That's kind of weird. Maybe it wasn't a bad idea to have that crease in the middle. Just kind of... I don't have muscle legs. I guess I could look for an image online, but I'm too lazy. So I'll just do kind of like that. That's not bad. He's all cute. And I guess later I'll do a kind of like wet. It's good to get the lines done now. I'll make his body wet, like he just stepped out of the shower. Droplets of water. Glistening. Okay, maybe I can start inking, and then once I'm done inking this, we'll go back to this drawing and we can put some color. I'll use this extra fine brush pen, my go-to for inking comics. Thanks, Evie. Sorry I get messages so late. There's a delay, but I'm also distracted by the drawing. But thanks, I'll keep it up. Alright. So, I just want to make sure I'm in frame. Alright. I guess I'll do the nose first. Sorry, I'm silent now. This drawing is a little bit smaller, so I need to focus a bit more. Otherwise, I can make a huge mistake. Although, I was saying I should try and loosen up, so maybe I should use that as a opportunity to just let loose. And it's fine if I mess up a bit, or if it's not perfect. Kind of a funny haircut. Right. So chest. I like when for muscle guys, I connect the neck and it kind of plunges into the chest cleavage. And it's like a big bubble. And then here it gets kind of dark because that's where all these like bulging muscles end, where the armpit is. So the armpit starts where the bicep ends, I guess. And so that's kind of a tricky part because I need to connect all the three bulges, 1, 2, and 3. 1. Although maybe I don't have to connect them. I could leave the lines kind of open, maybe. And so there's some areas I always leave pretty dark. It's the connecting areas where big volumes create kind of darker shadows. So that would be right here, the armpit, and then also the part where the face and the neck connect. So it creates also, you get a bit more depth. That's good. I think I'm gonna have a problem with this arm later, so I'll just leave it alone for now. Elbow. I don't know if muscle guys have like protruding elbow bones. That's just kind of how I draw them. I'm not sure. I need to check. Okay. Now it's the hand. I should have sketched it out a bit more. I'm not sure about that thumb. I hope I don't regret. I just did the thumb pretty differently from how it was planned, but I think it's for the best. It's a little bit of definition. Maybe that's too much definition. Oops. Okay, then I'm gonna do the butt. That's not bad. And the V line. L crease. Bump. Back to that line I wasn't really sure about. I could leave the leg, I'll just do a really small crease. Connecting the, I don't know what you call this, the knee. Then that muscle right here. And yeah, I like these brush pens because I can do this kind of work right here instead of doing one line that's the same thickness. I think it adds depth and more character to the line. I don't want to mess this up. I'm not great with feet from that angle, but I'm gonna try. That's fine. So then the middle one. The little toe is a little bit too big, but okay, that could be better, but I kind of messed up because these toes are kind of all different sizes. It's too late. Or I can try and fix it. Hold on. It should be smaller. I guess you can fix stuff using the lines, making them a bit thicker. Like here, this is too small, but if I make that line go all the way here, and then I can use this white brush after and fix this. Then the back leg. It's a bit easier to draw feet from profile view. I guess I don't want to mess it up, so I'll leave that leg. Leave it a bit simple like that. Let's see. So now it's time to do the towel, and then it'll be easier to do this section because I'll know where the towel ends. And I do the creases where the thumb is pressing the most. And I kind of follow these lines, and that kind of decides where the towel folds. Right. Okay, so back to the abs. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's where the belly button is. I mean, I don't know if that's where it's supposed to be. Maybe that's a bit too high. I usually aim for the, like, you have like one ab line here and then the other, the second one. That's where I draw the belly button. And I'll draw. Oh, I guess we're drawing a pin now. I thought it'd be hidden, but there's a little bit here. I hope you guys like it. Let's see. So now the nipple. Now it's the part I was dreading. It's this arm. I'll do this to delay. I guess you should have thicker eyebrows. A little sweat drop because he's shy. Let's see. I guess I'll start with the elbow. I think here's good to place it, and then the wrist, I think it should be more like this. And so I'm going to connect the wrist line to the elbow. And I think we should see like a peak of the shoulder behind. But more like this. And then like that. And so let's see. I'm trying to line up the palm with the way I've drawn the arm now. First I'll draw. I guess the palm is on the invisible side. Or is it on? I'm not sure. I guess the palm is here, so I guess that should have been a bit higher. Because right now the arm is kind of going through the chest. It should be like higher. I guess we can redraw this arm. I'm gonna get a corrector and we're just gonna fix the mistake. Thanks. Thanks, Max. So I got this new character. Let's see. It's very good. All right. And so basically what I did wrong is I didn't take into consideration the shoulder. It should be here, and then that's more like it. And then we'll do this. And then this way the arm is behind the chest and not like through it. Right. Right. Maybe if I start with the bottom of the bicep, it's better. That's not necessarily better. Just doing my best. Something's wrong still. I think I know. It's this here. This. And then that's kind of like droopy. Sorry for the issues. This is this is taking a turn, y'all. Oh god. Oh god. This is getting messy. Okay. We're back on track, I think. Alright. It's not bad. And I just have to that hand's gonna be a little challenging, but I don't want to mess it up. Ah, thanks for the comment. Transcend the tools. Hehe. Okay. I guess we won't see as many of the fingers. I'm trying to see how that hand position works. It's good to use a mirror. So I guess that hand's gonna be more like a profile view than I thought. Cool. I think... Sorry, I took you guys out of frame, but... just yellow mystic right here. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the side and go back to the earlier drawing. We're gonna do a quick coloring. So usually I don't erase the blue lines because I color on the computer, but today we're coloring with these markers, and so I need to erase the blue lines. So I'll use the boxy eraser and carefully erase. It's oops, it's erasing the ink. Maybe I should have waited a bit longer, but it's fine. I guess the eraser's very strong, that's why. It's kind of cool anyway. If it's a color drawing, we don't really need to have that extra black line. I think I'll stop the live stream after I'm done coloring this, and then for the hunky guy, I can do a live stream another time and maybe scan it and color it on Photoshop. That could be fun. Okay. I didn't expect this eraser to remove this much ink. That's the first time I see this. I think it's because I didn't wait long enough. Alright. I'm just gonna tap off the excess. Oh god. I spit on the drawing. There's a bit of blue pencil left. Right. So I'm gonna use this as a reference for the coloring. It's the same character. So the lightest tone is just left blank, and then the medium tone, I use this, and then I do shading with this, and extra dark shading with gray on top of the green. And hopefully the coloring will erase that little coffee stain. So yeah, that's a Copic marker. I think they're called Chiao. They have two sides, and the one I like to use is the one that's got a brush. It's kind of like how I love these brush pens. I like to color with a brush tip as well, because I don't like changing markers, so I like to just go lightly for the little like small areas, and then just press harder for the bigger zones. So I'll do, it's kind of like my go-to light source, top left. So this part is definitely in the shadow. Sorry. Alright. I guess I have to go a bit slower for the ink to spread evenly. There's gonna be a shadow here from the hair. And then I want more shadow on the forehead. So I kind of go by section. See, I didn't wait long enough, so a bit of ink is blending with the marker, but it's fine. Doesn't really matter. I don't care. Then I'll do shadow under the eyebrow. Oh god. I really should wait long. That's gonna get messy a little bit. Or maybe I'll try and avoid going like putting the marker inside, like right over the ink. So shadow here of the nose. Then you have a cheek highlight. And then I like to do like the bottom lip part dark for like a poutier lip. Then the shadow of the top lip, and then I leave this part white because it's kind of like fleshy bottom lip. Oh god. The marker is really picking up a lot of the ink on the way, so it's gonna be kind of a messy, messy coloring job. Over here it's not so bad because that ear will be really dark. So I do like sections, so that's like one part of the neck, and here's a bump, so I leave a little highlight, and then the rest is in green. Oops, I'm out of frame. Hehe. Should probably do a bit of shadow here under the cheek. Okay, that's it for the light green. And maybe with the medium green I can fix the muddy parts. Meh. Not quite. And that part, I really want to crease on the forehead to make the face less soft. Oh god, I'm really picking up all this ink. It's a bit hard not to because I want to color everywhere. Oh god. Maybe it's fine. Here I'm picking up the ink on purpose because I want that to be really a sunken cheek. And then I'll go back later with the gray. Oops, I forgot this part. And then gray for the really dark parts. Yeah, that's dark enough. It is kind of covering the parts that are stained by the ink. That's blending pretty well. It's a good transition from that gray to the really black shadows here. Right. I'll do a bit here. That's almost done for the green skin. I like to use this blender and really diffuse that part that goes from green to white in some areas, not everywhere, but just where it's more jarring, where like here for example. Once it dries, the wet section becomes clear again. And maybe here too I see that could be blended a bit more. That gray is still very different from the green, so it could use a bit of blending. Here too. Cool. Okay. Now we'll do the hair. Only two browns. Standard hair highlight. And so that brush tip is really good for that kind of stuff right here. Oops, sorry. And so I'm gonna align the shadow on the hair with where I did the texture. And I'll leave the parts like in between. You see like a bit of shadowing here with the lines and here. And I'll do the highlight in between. I'm a bit less chatty if I'm coloring because there's less to say and I just need to do it. But I guess I should go a bit slower because see here I went a bit too fast and there's not enough pigment. Same for here. Right. All right. I have to pee. I'm sorry. I'll be back really quickly. happen here? Alright. We're back, as if nothing happened. I'm gonna use my darker brown for that part right here. This way you get a better sense of volume. Like, you see that the hair goes way back behind the head. And I'm gonna use the blender we just used, because that's a little bit too sharp of a contrast. And I'll bring a bit more of that brown. And now we have like a pretty good gradient. Yeah. And I'll do kind of the same. Will I do the same here? Maybe not actually. Because this way, you remember how there was kind of a mistake here? If I don't make this part deep brown, then you see it's like in front of the shoulder, which was a mistake I made. So I'll just go very lightly with the brown here. Maybe here. And I'll bring the blender back to have less harsh shadows. Good. And blend. And probably after it seems to remove a bit of the light brown, so I'll go back with the brown. Back with the brown, and that should do a pretty good gradient. I'll do quickly the pimples. I forgot to draw them. The two forehead ones right here, big one, small one. The idea is that the forehead pimples are for stress and the ones near the lips are from eating junk food. And then I'll do kind of like a pink base and then go over with gray after for the eyes. Cute. And I don't have a red marker, so I'll do the bow pink. And since it looks like this removes a bit of paint, maybe I can do a highlight. I didn't. I think it's kind of working. And then I can come back later with the pink and do the shadows. Or actually, I can just do the shadow with this brown I used for the hair. Oh, sorry, you were out of focus. Out of camera. Yeah, that's pretty good to do shadow. I wish it was more red than brown, but it's not bad. And then for the blouse, I think the only color I can use is this gray. Otherwise, yeah, I don't have that many. So I'll use the gray and then really diffuse it at the edge. So here, shadow of the hair. And then shadow under a frill. I'm following the lines of the fold. And then here, shadow from that hair strand. Drop shadow from the frill. Drop shadow from the frill. Again. So I keep remembering the sun comes from this side. So that's why here, that's why I'm doing the shadows like this. And so if the sun is coming from here, there's a shadow here under the color. And under the ribbon, sorry, right here. And same thing. Shadow here, because it gets dark where the hair is. And there's going to be less shadow on this side than on this side, because that's the part where the light is coming from. Just maybe here to give depth to the shoulder. Shadow for this ribbon. And I'll use the blender again to diffuse this section, right here. Kind of where the bigger volumes are. I'm not going to diffuse this because it's a drop shadow. Although this drop shadow here is a bit too severe, so I will diffuse it. And this one here too. And here maybe too. Actually, I'm going to diffuse here as well. Let's see. It's pretty cool. I think I'm seeing some kind of spots in the green that I want to get rid of. Like here. I think it's when I used the blender, it kind of made some areas spotty. better. Now I'm just doing fine tuning. It helps to look in the viewfinder. I can see what needs, where there's like patchiness in the coloring. Like here too. Then I don't have many details to do. I pulled out this white pen, but since there's kind of white everywhere, I probably don't need it. Maybe like a little highlight here for like a glossy lid, and then here. This way, because these reflections maybe had the like black outline of the reflection balls was a little bit too thick. That's a bit better. I don't think I'll do a backdrop. I think I might just leave this like this. I think that's done. Is that done? I think that's done. I want to blend this a bit more and then we're done. And so this. I think that's pretty cool. I know what I'll do. I'll add a few strands of hair. Because I can see here we're missing a bit of detail. It's easy to go a bit overboard with these like extra strands of hair, but it helps because sometimes like I messed up that shape a little bit and it's too tempting not to. Like I can see here, for example, the hole goes a bit too inside and I want more hair on the outside, so doing that kind of tricks the eye. In the same way that here there should be more volume. And here I want hair that also like rests on the color. That's nice. Actually, I want more hair here. Actually, let's just do this. Let's go all the way. This should also be kind of all the way. I'm lucky this brown is so dark that it blends well with the ink. And maybe I want also this to go there. Maybe I'll blend. Well, I can't really blend. And then I'll go with this little brown. And you can overlay the markers, so here it helps with my transition. Okay. Then kind of help that's a good way to fix the mistake I'd made earlier. That volume's better. We love that. Cool. Maybe one thing that bothers me is I want this part to just all be the same, and then we're done. It's better. Finishing touches. All right. So that's done. Yeah, that's done. And so then maybe next time I can finish this one. I think I'll do a little Photoshop tutorials. Just because I also feel like, because when I corrected this section with this corrector, I think if I try to color this with a pen, it will look weird because it will reveal where the collector plastic is. So I'm also hungry. So I'm gonna end the live stream now. And I can log in another time to finish the hunk. I don't know if we can see him head to toe. Let's see. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks to everyone who came. We did this. Let's see. We did that. If anyone has a question, I can answer it. Otherwise, I'm gonna log off and get some food. I'm waiting a little bit because sometimes there's a delay, but I think that's the end. That's the end of the live stream, you guys. Thanks for coming. Bye now. Good night.